situation. And hopefully, if everything holds true, that there was no issues per se, hopefully Coach Grabowski will be able to latch on at another school and, continue his coaching career. All right. If you've got something you want to chime in on that story or any other that we're talking about here tonight, well, please do so at 423-800-8949. 423 800-8949. I've got a microphone collapsing on me, and hopefully it will be okay. I did see it go flying here the other week, so hopefully it will stay in place. We're looking at having a Preds Pulse report as the Nashville Predators continuing their surge in toward the playoffs of the NHL. We've gotten done with the NFL. The NBA is still ongoing. NHL is still ongoing. So, hopefully we'll be able to talk some hockey tonight. But before we get into talking Preds Pulse with Sam Jordan III, Chattanooga Mocs are in the home stretch of the SoCon schedule, regular season schedule, with a mere 6 games remaining. Fiddling, they will start it with weekend action at McKenzie Arena, hosting the Citadel and Mercer. Thursday's academic night, the athletic department honors its long and distinguished list of scholars at halftime and early in the second half with the Dale May Award, which goes to the senior male and female with the highest cumulative grade point average. Chattanooga student athletes earned a 3.062 GPA as a group during the fall 2017 campaign. It was the 8th straight semester with a 3.0 or better across all sports and programs. Men's basketball had a program record 2.83 GPA for the fall semester. Highlights include Dylan Brewster with a 4.0, making the Dean's List, the AD Honor Roll. Justin Brown making the Dean's List in the AD Honor Roll. Nick Desmarais with the Dean's List and the AD Honor Roll. James Lewis Jr., Dean's List, AD Honor Roll, and David Jean Baptiste with the AD Honor Roll. The Bulldogs enter the Scenic City, winners of 3 of their last 4. That includes a win in their last road game at Mercer less than 2 weeks ago. That was followed by a narrow 73-71 loss at home to East Tennessee State before sweeping the weekend over Wofford 80-78 in Furman with a 100-92 overtime win. Citadel is 6-2 in games and in regulation with a 1-possession score. Mercer lost 4 of the last 6 after an epic overtime matchup with the Mocs in mid-January in Macon. The Bears topped VMI and Wofford, sandwiching losses at UNCG in overtime and East Tennessee State at home against the Bulldogs and Furman. The last 5 were played without leading scorer Rhiannon Holland. So Thursday, Citadel comes to the Roundhouse, 7 p.m. tip. And then Saturday, Mercer comes into the Roundhouse with a 5 o'clock start with the doubleheader with the women taking on East Tennessee State. And let's see, the series history, Citadel meeting, it's the 81st time overall. The Mocs are 62-18. In the SoCon regular season, 58-15. And in the last 10 matchups, the Mocs are leading 8-2 with the first meeting earlier in the season, January 13th at Charleston. So with Mercer, it's the 69th meeting. Their Mocs trail 32-36 in that series. SoCon regular season, they have a narrow edge of 4-3, 4 wins and 3 losses. Last 10 is the Mocs winning 4 of the last 10, with the first meeting of this season back on January 15th down in Macon. So there's also some notes on the games. With 26 on Saturday, Rodney Chapman marked the 18th 20-point effort by a Mocs this season. 12 of the 18 came in SoCon play. and 2 20-point scores in 4 games this season, including first meeting at the Citadel. Mikhail Foreman with 30, Nat Dixon with 20, combined for roughly half of the squad's 101 points in that overtime loss. Mackenzie London, 7, leads the team. The last mock to tally 8 or more, Casey Jones with 16, with 8 in 2014-15 season. One of 4 mocks to top 20 this season, joined by Nat Dixon with 6, Rodney Chapman with 4, and Mikhail Foreman with 1. So sounds like it's going to be some interesting matchups coming up. Don't forget, you can always catch the action on Nooga Radio, or rather on GoMox.com. And, of course, the voice of the Mox, Jim Reynolds, JR, will be leading the way with all of the action for you on GoMox.com. 423-800-8949 is the phone number to call. Don't forget, coming up at 8 o'clock, we've got The Clutch with Keon Rose coming your way here on Nooga Radio. And if you've got something you want to hear, talk about, question, comment, whatever, call us up at 423-800-8949. While we're talking mocks, one famous mock making the NFL Hall of Fame will be inducted to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and that is Terrell Owens. He became the first former Chattanooga mock player to be elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame up in Canton, Ohio. If you've ever had the opportunity to go to Ohio, Canton is the one stop you should make. If you're a sports fan, and especially in football, the Pro Football Hall of Fame there in Canton is just an unbelievable sight. Cooperstown, New York is another one with the Baseball Hall of Fame. I've had the pleasure of going and really having a wonderful experience, and checking it out. The hallowed halls in Canton and Cooperstown. It's just amazing. And seeing all the vintage, the history, and sometimes even seeing the athletes themselves being there, just kind of checking things out, looking at their plaques. It's like, man, I worked hard to make it here, and now I'm here. But Terrell Owens, he's played for a lot of teams, but he got his start right here in the Southeast, and played his ball here in Chattanooga. And he was signed out of Alexander City, Alabama, going into the 92 season. And he's been considered as one of the best freshmen the Mocs have ever signed, even more than heralded Derek Hall, who went on to have a solid career with the Mocs. And Coach Nix, in a story by John Scher from Chattanoogan.com, said in an interview that Coach Nix remembered in 1999 of Mr. Owens, quote, "He wasn't a very hot commodity. Terrell was not a starter in high school. Terrell was physically a good athlete and a little late developer, but you could see a lot of raw talent." Mr. Owens actually played some basketball for Coach Mac McCarthy in 1993-94 after his sophomore year. Coach Nix thought that helped him blossom as an athlete and developed his full potential. About his best football game in a contest in which Mr. Owens showed a glimpse of what he would later do with such teams as the San Francisco 49ers, Philadelphia Eagles, and Dallas Cowboys occurred in the 93 game against Marshall, in a contest played at historic Chamberlain Field, where Mr. Owens played all of his home games with Finley Stadium not opening until 1997. Perennial 1AA power Marshall, under future Georgia coach Jim Donnan, went up 14-0 and appeared headed to an easy victory, but with 4 touchdown passes from UTC quarterback Kenyon Earl, the Mocs under first-year coach Tommy West came back in dramatic fashion and won 33-31 in what was a rare high moment for UTC during that stretch. Kind of reminds you of how the Patriots, had been doing the last several games, and Just couldn't do it, though, at the end against the Eagles. But Owens was a player who caught all 4 TD passes. And after Coach West left for Clemson following that season, Coach Buddy Green arrived to coach Terrell during his last 2 seasons as the Mock in 94 and 95. In 94, after an early season loss to Alcorn State and future Tennessee Titan Steve McNair at Chamberlain Field, Mr. Owens caught a touchdown pass and ran for a score and a win against Gardner Webb. 95, while catching passes from such quarterbacks as Jeff Peters and Brian Hampton, Mr. Owens would close out his career at the end of the year by catching at least 1 pass in a game for a record-setting 20th straight time. He received all Southern Conference honors on the season for all of his efforts as well. But, making his mark, getting signed by the 49ers, and then later going on into history, all with the NFC, which seems interesting, to say the least. I was thinking that he may have had an opportunity in the AFC, but evidently he got his playing time with the NFC squads out there. But congratulations to Terrell Owens. He was not my one favorite athlete out there. He was boisterous in his own right, almost like Deion Sanders in a way. It's like got a little cockiness to him and everything, but he did make the good plays when it was needed and helped his team to victories, and enjoyed some times, Super Bowls, that sort of thing. And he didn't really enjoy it with the Eagles, and I don't think he did with the Cowboys either. But, one of those things, he did get to, I believe, be a part of that with the Niners a little bit. But Eagles picked him up after a while and played for several seasons, and then latched on with the Cowboys to end his career there. But Terrell Owens, a UTC product, making the Pro Football Hall of Fame. While we're still talking about UTC, Kiana Gilbert was named a Southern Conference Player of the Week for women's basketball, according to the league office. It's our second SoCon Player of the Week honor this season. Gilbert led the Mocs to back-to-back road victories last weekend, was the key player in the win over Western Carolina that gave head coach Jim Foster his 900th career victory. Hopefully you got to enjoy our interview with Coach Foster last night here in the studio, here at Nooga Radio. And it was a pleasure getting to talk with Coach and kind of getting a little insight on how his 40-year career has spanned, and with some of the talent that he has seen over the years. And, he feels that he has a very good squad that could make a good run into the playoffs here. But Kiana Gilbert getting SoCon Player of the Week, and the Mocs are going to be getting ready to take on East Tennessee State on Saturday in the first game of a doubleheader. Game set to tip off at 2 o'clock at the Roundhouse, and the men's game following at 5. So if you get an opportunity, tickets are available at the McKenzie Arena box office, or you can go online at gomocs.com. So it'll be a good opportunity for you to catch some great basketball action, both the men and the women, representing our area very well here in the Southern Conference. Coming up after the break, we're going to be talking a little bit about NASCAR and all the things going on in that. February 11th, before you know it, it will be here. The start, the Advanced Auto Parts Auto Clash, that will be coming up on the 11th. Then the 15th, we'll have the Can-Am Duels. That will be determining who is going to be positioned where in the Great American Race coming up on February 18th. NASCAR getting ready to get back on the road again. And they'll be starting things out with the Great American Race on Sunday, February 18th at Daytona International Speedway. And of course, you can get all of your NASCAR racing action right here on Nooga Radio, 92.7 FM, 95.3 FM HD4, and of course at noogaradio.com. Call us up at 423-800-8949, 423-800-8949, and let's talk sports here on Nooga Radio with Sports Talk with Sam Jordan. Don't forget, coming up after 8 o'clock and CBS World and National News and the World News Roundup, we will have The Clutch with Keon Rose coming your way here at 8 o'clock on Nooga Radio. Don't forget to join Chattanooga's Morning News each and every weekday morning from 6 to 9 a.m. with Russ and Val. They'll get you up to date with all the latest news and happenings here in the Tennessee Valley and around the world. You just give us a little bit of your time and we'll give you everything you need to know in a concise, prepared newscast. Well, hello, Mike. Hope you're enjoying the show from wherever you're at. And thanks for tuning in to Sports Talk with Sam Jordan. And then right after Chattanooga's Morning News, you can always tune in for the Mike Gallagher Show from 9 to noon. And then Russ and Val with the News Power Hour at noon. And then Bloomberg Radio from 1 to 3. And then Sean Hannity from 3 to 6 p.m. All that and a whole lot more right here on Chattanooga's News Talk leader. We're News Talk 92.7 Nooga Radio and 95.3 FM HD4. And we're glad to serve Chattanooga and all the Tennessee Valley out there. We've got more coming up after the break. We'll talk that NASCAR news. We'll also talk a little bit about some of the other schools in our area with Dalton State. And also we'll be talking a little bit of Cleveland State as well. That's coming up after the break. You're on Nooga Radio. Thanks for joining in. Back in a moment.
Chattanooga Radio, Digital FM 95.3 HD4, 92.7 FM's News Now.
A Sequatchie County School Board member has charges dismissed. A Hamilton County judge on Monday dismissed charges against former school board chairman Charles Rollins, who was charged with assault. Police say he got into an argument with a cashier at Staples in December over price matching. Clerk told officers he threatened to shoot her, but the judge threw out the charge and expunged the record. Rollins said the accusation was made up by the clerk. The so-called Freedom Fighter bandit was arrested outside of Nashville. The bandit was wanted for several bank robberies in Georgia. The FBI said Nilsa Urena was called the Freedom Fighter bandit because she was captured on video during a robbery, posing like a commie straight out of the Cold War era with a raised closed fist. The FBI said she robbed banks for a cause. The Sean Hannity Show, weekdays from 3 to 6 on Nooga Radio. Val St. John, Nooga Radio, News Talk 92.7, News Now.
Chattanooga Morning News with Russ and Val, weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on Nooga Radio, 92.7 FM.
$25 goes by quickly these days, and 25 cents still just a quarter. 25 is the years of experience Schultz & Associates puts behind filing your tax return quickly, correctly, and electronically. Schultz & Associates.
Hi, I'm Chip Chapman. The IRS set some special dates this year regarding filing your taxes. It all may make filing a little more confusing this year. The professionals at Schultz & Associates can answer your questions about multiple incomes, income from rental property, special circumstances involving your children or family. Call Schultz & Associates 899-1130 and arrange an appointment to work out the details of your tax return. Schultz & Associates, 6310 Bonnie Oaks Drive.
Baseball sluggers often wear the number 25, or 25 is a full MLB roster. Just happens 25 is also the years of experience Schultz & Associates puts behind filing your tax return quickly, correctly, and electronically. Schultz & Associates, 899-1130.
Oh, man, rush. I've got to get stuff for the party. Where can I go that's going to give me a wide selection of beer, wines, and spirits? Oh, I've got it. I'll go to Harry's Wine and Spirits, Signal Mountain. Maybe East Brainerd Wine and Spirits in East Brainerd. I could go to Riley's Wines and Spirits in Hickson. Wow, look at the huge selection in here. Look at these great prices. Amazing. Oh, yeah. I'm going to find something for my lady, too. I'm going to make this party a success.
Make your party a success when you stop in at Harry's Wine and Spirits in Signal Mountain, East Brainerd Wine and Spirits in East Brainerd, and Riley's Wine and Spirits in Hickson. An automated nuclear missile defense system has suddenly entered into launch mode, and you are the only one who can stop it.
Escape experience.
Your team has just been infected with a deadly virus. Your only hope? There, in an abandoned farmhouse.
Escape experience, Chattanooga.
Handcuffed in a maximum security prison, you have an hour to flee.
Escape experience, Chattanooga.
These escape scenarios and more at Chattanooga's best escape room game and team building platform. Call now. Slots are limited. Register online at escapeexperience.com/Chattanooga. Escape Experience, Chattanooga.
Traffic, news, and information. Nooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM.
Expect fair to partly cloudy skies to continue through your nighttime. Cold overnight, lows mid and upper 20s. Now for your Wednesday, look for some sunshine with a breeze out of the north, though. Quite cold, highs up around 40 with more mainly dry and cold weather expected through Friday. Celebrate the new year with Dixieland Fireworks, locally owned with the largest selection around. A Black Hat dealer with the lowest prices in Dixie. Dixieland Fireworks, just off I-75 on Ringgold Road, East Ridge. And I'm Storm King 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Hoare.
Nooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM knows your opinion is important. So call 800-8949. Agree or disagree. Call 423-800-8949. 800-8949. Nooga Radio. 92.7 FM and 95.3 HD4. News Talk Nooga Radio. It's the moment you've been waiting for. Sam Jordan's Nooga Radio. 92.7 Sports. Now.
Yes, we're back, and we're glad to have you along listening in wherever you may be to Nooga Radio's Sports Talk with Sam Jordan. And we're going to add another Sam Jordan to the broadcast here tonight, calling us with a Preds Pulse report. Sam, Johansson, Josie, and Renee, they led the Preds to another dramatic overtime win. Things are really starting to pick up in the Preds in their overtime wins. How about it?
Yeah, last night that game was it was a total team effort. I would say probably one of their most complete games of the year. To come back with a deficit, they were down 4-3 for a majority of the third period, and to get that tying goal from, I believe it was Ryan Johansson. You got to like the depth and the ability to have the resolve to come back, especially in a hostile environment. Yes, the Islanders may not be the team you think right off the bat, but the Barclays Center tends to be a tough place to play for Eastern Conference teams. But to recap the week, Preds games that since we had last had our last Preds Pulse, Nashville started the week off rough with a 2-1 loss. And honestly, probably a game they should have been probably a 3-2 victory. Just some calls didn't go their way. They bounced back the Wednesday night with a 5-0 very sound win over the Los Angeles Kings. Another complete game effort. Pekka Rinne was lights out in the game, and I would probably say again it's one of their most complete games of the year. Then they followed it up. They had a Saturday night game against the New York Rangers, pulling out a 5-2 victory again. Preds scoring 10 goals and only giving up 2 in those 2 games against probably the 2 more perennial teams in the league. A 10-2 stretch over that course of, if you add it into the Chicago game, the Preds are scoring 12 goals and only giving up 3. We haven't seen those kind of numbers since last year during the playoff run, where they held, I think, Chicago scoreless. It was 13-2 over the first series. So, you're seeing some statistics, and then they followed up last night with that huge 5-4 overtime win that puts them in first place in the Central Division, second in the Western Conference, only trailing the Vegas Golden Knights, and then third in the league. These are, again, we have about just under 2 months left in the season, so it'll be interesting to see how these standings will fall into place as we get closer